Hi everyone, I recently finished Understandable Economics by Howard Uris, professor at NYU. This is an excellent book on modern economics, published in 2022. Written in a fun and approachable style, it clearly explains intimidating subjects such as inflation, the national GDP, the role of the Federal Reserve, how boards of directors function, the national debt, and much more. Throughout the book, the author throws out his own ideas on how to make the system more equitable for everyone, such as the importance of the government treating healthcare and education not as waste, but as an investment that will empower workers to be more economically productive for the entire country. He praises globalization, but makes clear that working conditions of developing countries must far exceed what people had to endure during the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and the international community as a whole should police safety standards, child labor, and wages. The book only gets tough at the end when detailing the US tax code, which is part of the author's argument that our tax system is bloated and filled with loopholes. While not going deep into personal finance and investments, the book points out that if you're an American resident, it's very much in your best interest to be an owner of capital such as stock investments and real estate, at whatever amount you can realistically build from. The only negative about the book is that the author makes his political leanings fairly obvious, when sticking to policy would have sufficed. His views are reasonable, but I always find myself being put off a bit when a book that's not centered around political partisanship tries to sneak it in anyway. Still, this book is a great read, whether you're intimidated by economics or already familiar but would enjoy a fun refresher. I recommend this for everyone. And if you'd like to stick around, here are my top 5 notes from the book. Number 1, from pages 55 and 56, Purchasing Power Parity. As comparing GDP between nations presents a distorted view of their relative wealth, PPP takes into account the cost of specific goods between countries, such as apples or houses. This allows for comparisons of each country's purchasing power for particular items. And number 2, from pages 56 and 57, the Gini Index. To account for how income or GDP is divided amongst a country's population, the Gini scores income inequality from 0 to 100, 0 meaning equal income amongst everyone, and 100 meaning all income is earned by one person. Interesting, as so-called communist nations such as China and Vietnam score higher with 38.5 and 35.7 than capitalist Germany and Canada, which has 39.9 and 33.3. The United States has the highest level of income inequality at 41.4. Number 3, from pages 57 and 58, the Social Progress Index. To account for a citizen's well-being beyond pure economic factors, the Social Progress Index ranks countries across 50 metrics, including longevity, nutrition, personal freedom, safety, education, and healthcare access. At the time of publication, the United States ranked 24th place. Number 4, from pages 174 and 175, Government Borrowing. The government borrowing money during times of economic expansion by offering higher interest rates is seen as a negative, as it diverts money from private enterprise. However, during recessions, this can stimulate economic activity and recovery when the demand for private lending is drastically reduced. And number 5, from pages 185 through 189, the national debt. At the time of publication, the U.S. national debt was $22.3 trillion. Divided by the entire population, this amounts to $67,576, with an annual interest rate of $1,045 per year. Moreover, 68% of the national debt is held amongst Americans, the remaining 32% amongst foreign nations. This one in particular surprised me a bit, as I didn't know the interest rates were that low, which is a great thing. And also, I was under the impression that the entire national debt was what we owed to all the other countries in the world, which also brings relief. But I wonder what the author has to say after the big beautiful bill passed, which I believe increases the debt limit to 35 trillion or around there. All right, well, that was my look at the book Understandable Economics by Howard Uris. I'd recommend it for everybody. And thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon with more. Bye.